I am Mary Wollstonecraft. Just as I challenged the darkness of the 18th century with my pen, I now address you. I see that the centuries that have passed have not changed the essence of the system that enslaves women. They have merely refined the appearance of the shackles. Back then, we were told to embroider, play the piano, and be silent. Today, you are told, shine on social media, dress beautifully, look perfect, and still be silent. This is the same poison poured into a new bottle. But first, I need to explain how ignorance has turned you into a willing slave. Because you, the women of the modern age, have freed yourselves from physical chains. But the chains in your minds are much heavier than those of your ancestors. And the most frightening thing is that you often mistake these chains for freedom. If a woman does not systematically train her mind, the first thing she loses is her confidence in her own mental abilities. Because they tell you that you are emotional. You forget that when making decisions, you should trust rational thought rather than that primitive voice inside you, your instinct. An uneducated woman, fearing that every thought will be labeled overly emotional, stifles her most valuable ideas before even voicing them. This is mental suicide. Look at that new cage of elegance called social media. In my day, elegance was considered a woman's highest virtue. Delicate workmanship, refined behavior, fragile beauty. These were tools imposed on us to weaken us. Today, the same cage is called social media presence. Perfect filters, flawless angles, posts bold enough to get likes, but shallow enough to avoid judgment. You have made yourself a prisoner of your appearance and your shallow profile. You expect a man to take you seriously, but you market yourself like a commodity. This is madness. The system's greatest success is normalizing and even making desirable the model of the well-dressed, well-groomed, but empty-headed woman. Why? Because a woman who is full of substance, who has ideas and uses her mind, cannot be controlled. She charts her own course. Whereas the beautiful and empty woman is the perfect tool for feeding a man's ego. Her existence reinforces a man's belief in his own mental superiority. You play along with this game and seek your own value in the brand of a dress, the price of a handbag, the quality of a makeup product. But your true value lies in that magnificent organ inside your head. You walk around like a decorated corpse. Everything looks fine from the outside, but there is no life inside. This death is sold to you as womanhood. I call out to you, wake up! This system fears you. The moment you start using your mind, their entire construct will collapse. Education is the only key to this awakening. But the education I speak of is not limited to a university degree or a professional skill. I am talking about disciplining the mind, sharpening the intellect like a sword. Study philosophy. It teaches you how to think. It teaches you to question every idea imposed on you, to scrutinize every truth. When a woman begins to study philosophy, she stops saying, I feel this way, and starts saying, I think this way because. This is a revolution. Understand the basic principles of economics and law. If a woman does not understand the basic principles of earning money and her rights under the law, she will always remain dependent on someone else. Economics shows you how the world really works. Law shows you the power you have. These two are also the antidote to your emotional dependence. Read your history. Women's history. You will see that our struggle is not new, only the tools have changed. Back then there were physical cages. Now there are mental cages. History reminds you of your heritage. It shows you that you are not a fashion trend, but an heir to a struggle for existence. Escape the traps of social media. Use it not as a master, but as a slave. Be a creator, not a consumer. How many hours a day do you spend watching other people's lives? If you had devoted that time to developing your own mind, how many books would you have finished by now? Scrolling is an opiate that numbs your mind. Aim for impact, not likes. What you say matters, not how many likes you get. A shallow selfie may get 1,000 likes, but a profound philosophical insight may only impact 10 people. But it changes those 10 people's lives. What lasts is impact, not likes. This transformation will be painful. I will ask you to shed an identity that is comfortable for you. Your environment, which defines you as pretty and empty, will resist you when you start to change. They will label you dramatic, extreme, difficult. This is a sign that you are on the right path. Growth requires discomfort. Take yourself seriously. If you do not take your own ideas, goals, and intellectual pursuits seriously, no one else will. Being taken seriously is not about speaking in an authoritative tone. It is about the books you read, the topics you ponder, and the meaning you bring to your life. Stop striving to be beautiful. Strive to be strong. Beauty is a trait beyond your control, one that diminishes over time. Strength, however, is a trait you build through your own efforts, one that grows over time. Mental strength, physical strength, financial strength, emotional strength, all of these grow through your own endeavors. I am Mary Wollstonecraft. My struggle was not limited to the 18th century. It lives on today within you, in every line you read, in every dogma you question, in every moment you trust your own mind. I will tell you a more painful truth. No slavery is as dangerous as decorated ignorance. For this type of ignorance wears the mask of freedom. It believes itself to be enlightened. Yet it is the most advanced, most refined form of ignorance. You see well-groomed, beautifully dressed women with flawless makeup. But when you start talking to them, you find yourself in a mental desert. They know nothing about the world, philosophy, politics, or art. All they talk about are brands, holidays, other people's lives. There is so much emptiness inside them that they constantly try to fill it with things from outside. This is spiritual hunger. And this hunger turns them into perfect slaves of the system. I won't condemn social media. Tools are never to blame. It's how we use them that is. But you are using this tool to enslave yourselves. Look at the modern-day charlatans called influencers. What do they promise you? To be more beautiful, to be liked more, to attract more attention. None of them promise to be smarter, to be more knowledgeable, to be more free. Because a free woman does not buy their products. A free woman earns with her own intelligence. How many of you have bought a product recommended by an influencer only to find that it did not make you as happy as promised? That moment was an opportunity for you to wake up. But most of you tried to forget this disappointment with your next purchase. This is the behavior of an addict. Let me teach you how to use social media. Rule number 1, never be a consumer. Always be a student. When you enter a platform, ask yourself, what can I learn from here today? Not, who will I like today? Second rule, go against the crowd. Don't share what everyone else is sharing. Don't talk about what everyone else is talking about. Find your own voice in the silence. If there is a gap between your virtual self and your real self, it is a split personality. I'm talking about education, but I don't mean what is taught in schools. Real education is educating one's own mind. It is a lifelong journey. Start with philosophy. Read Socrates, Plato, Kant. No matter how distant they may seem to you, their thoughts contain the answers to the problems you face today. When a woman learns philosophy, she no longer says, men do this. She says, this is what I think. Learn economics. What is money? How does inflation work? What is the stock market? Knowing these things does not make you a boring person. On the contrary, it empowers you. A woman who understands how money works will never be dependent on a man's financial power. Study history, especially women's history. See that everything you defend today as women's rights was won with blood and tears. You are the heirs of this struggle. Your duty is not to consume this legacy with fancy selfies on social media, but to carry it forward. This teaches you humility. It shows you how little you know. Recognizing your ignorance is the first step to wisdom. Transformation from an empty woman to a fulfilled person. This transformation will not be easy, but it is not impossible. Here is a practical guide. Step 1, diagnosis. Ask yourself honestly, am I an empty woman? If the answer is yes, don't panic. This is the beginning of healing. Step 2, detox. Cut your time on social media in half. Control your urge to shop. Get rid of your brand obsession. Step 3, nourishment. Nourish your mind. Read books for at least an hour a day. Philosophy, history, science. Allow your mind to be selective. 5th step, social environment. Distance yourself from people who keep you shallow. When they try to change you, it is a sign that you are on the right path. 6th step, patience. This is not a change that will happen overnight. Rebuilding your mind is like rebuilding a city's infrastructure. It takes time. Remember, the system fears you. There is nothing more dangerous to them than an educated, free-thinking woman, because that woman can stand on her own 2 feet. She can make her own decisions. She can build her own life. What I want from you is to earn that fear. What I want from you is to be a dangerous woman. Dangerous with your mind, your knowledge, your self-confidence, not with your beauty. I am Mary Wollstonecraft. I am speaking to you from 1792. My struggle is not over. It continues within you. Can you hear this voice? That voice is the cry for your freedom. Do not silence it. Now I will tell you the hardest part. How a liberated mind can live in this system of ignorance. Because the moment you awaken, everything around you will seem foreign. Your old friends will not understand you. Your family will look at you with disapproval. You will even feel alienated from yourself. This will be your greatest test. My first confession to you. Every free-thinking woman is alone at first. Do not fear this loneliness, because this is not the loneliness of those who follow the herd, but the loneliness of those who chart their own course. When you realize you can no longer talk about the same things with your old circle of friends, this is not a loss but a gain. While they still talk about brands, gossip, and shallow relationships, you are now concerned with the real issues of the world. This separation will be painful, yes, but remember, an ascent always requires leaving some things behind. Do not fear being alone, because when you are alone, you hear your own voice most clearly. When you are in a crowd, you only hear the echoes of others' voices. I will speak to you about the most sensitive subject, love. For an uneducated woman, love is a search for a savior. For an educated woman, love is the coming together of 2 whole people. Love should be the choice of 2 whole people, not 2 halves sticking together. Men will hate you. More accurately, they will appear to hate you because they fear you. Because you are taking away their role as the savior. You are telling them, I don't need your protection. I need your intelligence. This is a truth that many men cannot bear. But the right man, and there are few of them, will appreciate you. He will admire your intelligence, your knowledge, your stance. because he too is a person who has found his own wholeness and is looking for someone like you. Perhaps your most important role, being a mother. But what I ask of you is not to be a mother in the traditional sense. What I ask of you is to be a revolutionary who liberates the minds of the new generation. Tell her stories of brave women in history. Don't tell her to be beautiful. Tell her to be smart. Raise your son not by telling him men don't cry, but by telling him men feel. Teach him that strength is mental, not physical. Teach him respect, understanding, equality. Remember, every child you raise today is a potential revolutionary tomorrow. If you liberate their minds, the chains of the next generation will be looser. I want you to earn money with your intelligence. Your difference, your more sensitive, more holistic, more creative way of thinking is your greatest strength. As you rise in your career, lift other women up with you. Give them a hand. Show them the way. Because one woman rising is good, but all women rising is revolutionary. This journey will be exhausting. Sometimes you will want to give up. Sometimes you will say, I wish I had remained ignorant. Because ignorance is more comfortable. The truth hurts. Write down your feelings and thoughts. It's like therapy. Find support. Connect with women who think like you. See that you are not alone. Celebrate small victories. If you finished a book today, that's a victory. If you came up with a new idea, that's a victory. I am Mary Wollstonecraft. I am speaking to you from 1792. In my time, I fought for women's right to education. Today, I fight for the liberation of your mind. This is not a manifesto. It is a rebellion. This is not advice. It is a call to action. What I ask of you is simple. Be the master of your mind. Recognize your ignorance and eradicate this ignorance with knowledge. Ask yourself, why do I think this way? Not with your beauty. Revolution begins not in the streets, but in the mind. And this revolution must begin in your mind. Now I will teach you the most important lesson. Revolution begins in the small moments of daily life. It is not enough to say grand words. You must live these words in your daily choices. Most of you grab your phone as soon as you wake up in the morning. You check social media to see what you missed overnight. This is the worst way to poison your mind. Philosophy, history, poetry, anything that will awaken your mind. A small but concrete goal. Let your clothing be your weapon. I'm not saying stop dressing nicely, but change the meaning of your clothing. Let your clothing be a way to express your own power, not to attract a man. Get rid of your obsession with brands. It's not the price tag of a dress that matters, but what it means to you. Dress simply, elegantly, and powerfully, not flashy and attention-seeking. Most of you grab your phone as soon as you wake up in the morning. You check social media to see what you missed overnight. This is the worst way to poison your mind. Philosophy, history, poetry, anything that will awaken your mind. A small but concrete goal. Let your clothing be your weapon. I'm not saying stop dressing nicely, but change the meaning of your clothing. Let your clothing be a way to express your own power, not to attract a man. Get rid of your obsession with brands. It's not the price tag of a dress that matters, but what it means to you. Dress simply, elegantly, and powerfully, not flashy and attention-seeking. If you wear makeup, do it for yourself, not for others' approval. Don't be afraid to look natural. Don't be afraid of aging. These are natural signs of life. Stop having shallow conversations. When someone asks you, how are you? Instead of saying, I'm fine, say, I'm reading this book today. It's very interesting. Raise the quality of your conversations. Talk about the last book you read, a new historical fact you learned, a philosophical question you've been thinking about. an important development in the world. Don't waste time with people who belittle you. What they think of you does not determine your worth. For every purchase, ask yourself, do I really need this? Why do I want to buy this? Is it a real need or an emotional void? Will this make me happy in the long run? Break your brand dependency. Prioritize quality over brand. Remember that overconsumption is a form of modern slavery. How you spend your day is an indicator of how you will spend your life. Divide your time as follows: 30% learning, reading, taking classes; 30% creating, writing, creating, working; 20% physical health, sports, walking; 20% social relationships with quality people. Maximum 1 hour per day on social media. Use this hour to create and learn, not just to consume. Why are you happy? Find the source of your emotions. Don't need others' approval. If you believe you are right, that is enough. Overcome the fear of being alone. Learn to enjoy your own company. Don't take criticism personally. Accept constructive criticism. Ignore destructive criticism. Be aware of what you are doing at every moment. What are you thinking right now? Is this thought serving you? Is this spot real? Or is it a product of your fears? Be the master of your mind, not the slave of your thoughts. Revolution comes not through grand slogans, but through small choices. Today, every morning when you wake up, ask yourself, which chain will I break today? Every evening before you go to bed, ask yourself, how did I free my mind today? Be the revolution. Today, now, starting from this moment. Subscribe and share your comment now. I'm sure you'll be good if you listen to me and think carefully. See you at the next part.